Have you ever wondered exactly what's inside a remote control car and how it works? If so, you're in the right place, because today we're going to be taking apart this one. And if not, just keep watching anyway. So, here we are. This is the car in question. This was a donation from a friend. It comes with 4 spare tyres. I think these are grippy tyres. The ones that are on it are drift tyres, so super cool. And then we've got the remote here, which we'll probably take apart and have a look at, but we'll save that for later. So, first thing we do actually is just see if it's got any batteries in it. So let's just whip this off. Okay, and it doesn't. Fair enough. So this seems to be held on with these little clips. So let's just get the oh yeah, there we go. Let's just get the body off. See what we've got. Oh. The headlights are connected. Right. Let's pop the headlights through. There we go. So it has headlights and it has rear lights as well. That looks brilliant. Don't need that anymore. Okay, so we've got the wheels, the front steering rack, so there's something going on in here. Got the battery compartment, the rear axle, which from the feel and the sound of it is where it's motorized. Oh, there's the motor there. So let's just start taking all these screws out then. I may speed this part of the video up because there's quite a few screws and this would probably be very boring. Oh, okay. Well, let's just work on this section then, first of all. So that, right, they're the rear lights. So look, these are connected into here. Now I think those bulbs can come out like that, and no, they would have been connected in afterwards. So yeah, so they've been soldered on. I don't know if you can see that there. So those headlights have been soldered on. So we're just going to cut these off and be done with that. Right. So there's that top case, which it's quite oily actually, greasy. So very good. We've got, okay, that comes from somewhere. We have a little motor here. Okay, we've got a little motor here. I'm going to have to look underneath that motor because it looks like there's a drive to the rear wheels here, but there's also a drive here which goes to the front wheels as well. So if you look at that, we do actually have the 4-wheel drive system in place. I don't know where the connection is. Whether that was supposed to be a part of it. I don't know where the drive's coming from to go to the rear wheels, but we'll have a look at that in a bit. All right, let's keep taking it apart for now and see what else we've got. Oh, all right, never mind. Oh, I'll tell you what. Sorry, that's just clicked. Some of you may have got that before me. Right, so that, I believe, is a connection that went somewhere in here. That, yeah, there we go. That was a connection from, so it comes off the motor here, this front bit, goes into here, which drives the front, but then it also comes off through this gear here and then to the rear wheel, so it's all being driven off. And I imagine there's probably some sort of gear ratio at play. Maybe it's sending more to the rear, or don't know. Be honest, can't be bothered to count all the teeth and work that one out. But yeah, okay, so that's how it's getting drive. There's the little motor at the back. There's the rear axle. Very nice. Okay, so let's keep taking this middle section apart then. Oh dear. I'm not sure my screwdriver's actually reaching that. Ah, no, it does. Okay. Okay. Right, there's that cover to the board. No doubt that's where the receiver is. I imagine that's probably the receiver right there from the remote. There's some kind of capacitor there, which is it's a bit dodgy. I'm not sure why it's mounted like that, but never mind. The person who gave me this said it was like £10, which is not a lot of money for something like this. So yeah, probably fairly cheaply made. So that may explain the inconspicuous capacitor. Alright. Yeah. Another capacitor. Your chip. Yeah, I can't remember what they're called actually. I'm not an electrical engineer, so I'll forgive myself. What's that? Oh, that's the on-off switch. I'll take it off just for the sake of being complete. Yeah, and there's the on-off switch that comes through the bottom. Right. So let's get, it looks like there's another motor here. That is probably just for steering the wheels and not for the drive, I'd have thought. Way, steady on. I have to say, it does feel quite flimsy. Probably should not be a surprise for it's more of a toy than a hobbyist remote control car, should we say. Maybe, I wonder if maybe I can get my hands on an old petrol car. That might be quite good, especially one that's got suspension, obviously a small engine, that would probably make for a good video. I'll have to keep my eyes out for an old one. Oh, okay. Right. Okay, that's just fallen apart completely. Never mind. Oh, okay. What's going on here? Oh, I see how that works. Yeah, that's completely fallen apart though, unfortunately. Okay, I'm probably going to have to explain this and just redraw how that's connected together on the whiteboard, because that is just not going to stay together for the purpose of this. Okay, and you've got the little spring there as well. Right, I see. Good, interesting, right. Well, that's cleared a lot of questions up. Okay, right, let's get to the whiteboard and try and explain this. Okay, so I'm going to try and explain the mechanical mechanism here and how all the wheels get drive. So first of all, let's assume that is the cart looking from the top down. Okay, so we have, let's get some different colours here. So we have a rear axle that runs here and a front axle that runs there. And we have a wheel on each side. Some very questionable wheels, but it's fine. Okay, and then at the rear here we have a small motor which does the forward and back drive. And the way it does that, it comes up here and it connects to a small gear here, and then that gear, this is simplifying it a little bit, I'll put a photo on the screen, but that gear essentially drives a fixed gear to the shaft. So that is your forward and reverse drive to the rear wheels. Now this gear here is also attached to a small gear at the front, and this also sends drive in the same manner to the front wheels, so we essentially have a four-wheel drive car. Now for the steering, there's also a smaller motor at the front here, and this drives a small little gear here, which sits on the rack. Now the rack is basically, let's go for a purple. So the rack is basically a small piece of plastic that sits across there with loads of little notches in it, like that. I'll draw this a little bit bigger actually, just so you can see it. So you have the rack here, you have these notches that sit in it, and the gear that sits over the top of that, something like that. And when that gear spins, it pushes this rack either that way or that way. Okay, hopefully that helps. Probably doesn't even help, never mind. So for the wheels are actually fixed. The wheels are fixed in place to the body, let's say here, so essentially they're fixed and they're allowed to rotate either that way or that way, but that is driven by a small lever here essentially that's connected to the rack. So as the rack moves that way or that way, it pushes or pulls that lever, which then rotates that wheel. And actually, quite cleverly, the wheels are allowed to rotate because inside the wheel hub, it's I'll put a picture on screen. It's going to be easier than drawing it, but it's essentially a ball joint. So it's a completely free ball joint. That wheel is allowed to move in any direction, but it's got some little pins that lock it in, so it locks the drive of the wheels, but it's allowed to freely rotate within that joint to give it the steering. So pretty simple concept, but very, very good. Hopefully that made sense, and I hope you enjoyed the video.